Okay, so this is the video from Geometry Unit 2, Quiz Number 1 Review, and we're going to go through in this video questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, where the directions just say simplify. Now, each and one of these, I'm going to ask you the question to myself, what is the operation going on between the two polynomials? So, in number 1, my polynomials are 13b plus 2 and 13b minus 2. And the question I'm asking is, what's the operation that's currently going on between here? And the answer is, since there's no other sign, it's multiplication. So when we have multiplication, this is where I like to use our box method in order to actually multiply our polynomials. So I have 13b and 2 for the first one, and I have 13b minus 2 for the second one. Okay? So now, to get the values inside the box, I'm going to multiply these numbers. 13b times 13b is 169b squared. 13b times negative 2 is negative 26b. 13b times 2 is positive 26b. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So what actually happens in this case here is that when I'm bringing out of the box, I'm starting off with my first box on the top left-hand corner, okay? And I'm going to say, are there any like terms that also have a b squared? And the answer is no. So 169b squared comes down. And then, since we use the box method, I can look at the boxes that are diagonal from each other. 26b minus 26b. Now what actually happens there is they completely cancel out. So there's no b's here. And then I'm left with the last term at the bottom right-hand corner, which happens to just be negative 4. This is my simplified answer after I've done all of the distributing out. Well, one of the biggest mistakes has happened going from like number 1 to number 2 because we just did a multiplication, so we see the parentheses and we see the polynomials, and immediately we think to try to multiply again. But the thing here is that I have two parentheses, and then the operation that is in between the polynomials is the addition sign. And the addition sign forces me to change what I'm going to do. If I'm going to do addition, all I'm doing is dropping the parentheses, so 13x cubed minus 3x plus 5x squared plus 15x squared plus 2. Now, there's no more multiplication, so I don't have to do the box method. All I'm going to do is find like terms. And when we like to do with these, we always want to start with the largest exponent, which is just x to the third. Are there any other x to the thirds? They're not. So then we go to the next one, x squared. So I have a 5x squared here and a 15x squared. So those will be like terms. I'll be combining those. And we work our way down. So we got the x squareds. Now we just have the x. And then finally we have our constant. So to write our final polynomial, we just go in order. There's no 11x cubed by itself. 5x squared plus 15x squared is 20x squared. Okay, that's an x. Hard to see. And negative 3x and plus 2. This is the order we'd like to write. It wouldn't be wrong if you wrote it in a different order, but this is the proper notation we'd like to write. So now we go with that was number 2. So we come down to number 3. And in number 3, okay, number 3 is going to look eerily similar to number 1 because the operation between these two binomials is multiplication. So again, because it is multiplication, we like to use the box method. I have a t and a negative 7. Don't forget the negatives, t and a negative 4. So what I'm going to do is now multiply t times t squared, t times negative 4, negative 4t, t times negative 7, negative 7t, and I'm just noticing that this is a positive 4, so I should say positive. Positive 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. This is also why I like the box method because it's very easy to see what you did. If you make a mistake, you can easily correct it. So pulling the terms out, top left corner, t squared comes down. I am going to add these two going across, so negative 7t plus 4t is negative 3t. And then I'm left with negative 28. Excuse my window that keeps popping up. Okay? So this is our final part. So now we're in number 4, and the question, like I've been asking for the previous 3, is what is the operation in number 4? And this one is just 9x and then a multiplication. So I could use the box here, but because it's only a monomial times a binomial, this is where I'm just going to distribute that 9x. So I'm going to say 9x times x, and then that minus 4 times 9x. So 9x times x is 9x squared. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36x. And this is my simplified answer. This was problems number 1 through 4 from your Unit 2 Quiz 1 review.